What's going on, guys? Double A here, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 mistakes made in lower elo. So I'm going to break down these 5 mistakes that I feel can be improved in order to help you become a better player. These 5 common mistakes are things I see happen most often in my games, and I even caught myself doing from time to time. So let's get started. So mistake number 1 is overextending / not knowing when to chase. Now what do I mean by that? For starters, I'm sure we've all heard this in one of our games. Don't overextend. Overextending is when you or your team pushes further or aggressively into a riskier situation that can be avoided. A common example of this is when you're playing on a control map like Oasis and your team has just won the team fight and captured the point, but the McCree on your team decides to go chase down the Roadhog by himself and gets killed because he was out of position and too deep for his team to help. Now, instead of having all 6 players up and ready to defend, you're short 1 player and are now lacking a DPS. So the trick is knowing when to chase down the enemy. When you're defending a point and your team gets 2 picks, sometimes it's more advantageous to attack the enemy team instead of sitting there and waiting for them to regroup. This is known as staggering the enemy, and I'll talk about this a little later on. But an example of this can be on Hanamura. When you're defending and holding the choke point, and your Roadhog hooks the enemy Reinhardt, and you happen to kill him and the Mercy who tried to save him. At this point, it's smarter for you and your team to push forward against the enemy and possibly get more picks instead of letting them walk away. Of course, this all depends on the situation, but understanding when to chase and when not to chase is very important. So mistake number 2 is a simple one, but it doesn't seem to be utilized as much as it could be, and that is ultimate knowledge. What I mean by ultimate knowledge is as simple as calling out your ults, letting your team know when you have an ult, and maybe how you can possibly combo it with another player, like a Zarya and a Tracer ult combo. But also calling out the enemy team ults, keeping track of who has their ults on the enemy team. If you're a Zenyatta and you know that the enemy Zarya still has her Graviton, you can save your ult to counter hers and help your team win that fight. So just keep track of ultimates, both yours and your enemies, and you'll do much better. Mistake number 3 is staggering. This is a term I used earlier, so let's talk about it a little bit. An example of staggering or trickling in is you running into the enemy team 1v6, now you have to wait 10 seconds to respawn and are no longer with your team. This becomes a cycle in lower elo. Your team will go in 4v6, you'll get completely wiped, and the other 2 players left on your team will go in late and then die themselves. Now half your team is alive and the other half is still waiting to respawn. This is a very common mistake and happens all too often. Going in as a full team always hires your chance of winning a team fight. You don't want to put yourself at a disadvantage by staggering or trickling in. Make sure to group up and move in as a team before team fights, and you'll notice yourself winning more and more often. Okay, tip number 4 is about tilting. I know, we've all been there. In a game where a player on your team auto-locks the Hanzo pick after you already have 2 DPS locked in and he refuses to swap. It's frustrating, no doubt, but it helps no one for you to get mad about it or have your team mad before the game even starts. It's important for you to keep cool and not get frustrated. It will only hurt your team's performance and cause further frustration. Stay cool throughout your games and take a break when it's needed. Don't lose that precious SR because of tilt. The 5th mistake is not learning from your mistakes. Try to catch yourself making those silly mistakes you know you shouldn't be making. The best way to do this is by recording your own games and rewatching them to see what you're doing wrong. This is a simple and effective way to learn and improve your gameplay and your game sense. Or if you don't want to record your own gameplay, just have a notebook out while you're playing, and after each game, write down 3 things you know you did wrong. That way you can remember them and learn from them. It's always important to learn from your mistakes. Alright, that's going to do it for us here today, guys. I hope this helps you guys improve your gameplay and help you climb the ranks. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like down below. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more Overwatch content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.